Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shay and Douglas. I'm from the EHTV network, and today we're back with another episode of Dr. EHTV. Thank you, Dr. Espen, for joining me again. And I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in and watching this video. In this video, what we're going to really do is open up the discussion and really dive deep into sharing what's actually going on, what's relevant in the world today, and how you can apply the learnings that Dr. Espen teaches through the quantum experience, through the quantum advanced trainings, through the quantum upgrade 8-week course, and how you can apply that to your own life to navigate the times that we find ourselves in. I'm calling in from far north Queensland in Australia, and we are now 12 months since this global pandemic has happened, and now we find ourselves still navigating some of these tumultuous changes that are occurring. So this is a really exciting conversation to have, and we're going to be diving deeper into the uncensored version, where you can subscribe in the description of this video. Just join us, where we're really going to dive deep and really unpack what it takes to be able to navigate what's going on in the world, and really asking those questions. What is actually happening right now, and how do we navigate these times? So thanks, Dr. Espen, for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. I'm so good this afternoon, and it's a privilege. Today we're going to be diving into belief systems and really understanding that so much of what we believe to be true may not be so true, and also how to consciously upgrade our beliefs to that which we feel is going to serve us best. And what better time to talk about, what we truly do believe than during a time of a global pandemic? Because right now, as you experience what's called this splitting prism, PRISM, this splitting prism of time, which it seems to be that society is kind of divided. People looking at each other like, you're wearing a mask and he's not wearing a mask, and this person's, wants the vaccine, and this person wouldn't trade their life to have the vaccine. This person believes that, this is an actual disease that came from a bat, and other people believe that no, this is a bioweapon that is used against us for global power and control. And so what we're not going to be doing today is to talk about what we believe to be true, because that's irrelevant. What is relevant is how our beliefs create our destiny, how our beliefs are creating an opportunity for us to either suffer or live an incredible, abundant life. And that's incredibly important. And if you are watching, guys, I'm seeing your comments come through. Love this. Would love for you to pop in the chat section, say hi, let us know where you're dialing in from. And of course, if you're listening to the recording also, take a moment to consider the power of this, because we know, and you might feel free to write this down if you feel this is going to serve you, what we believe we will achieve. And we're going to touch on the science of epigenetics today. We're going to touch on the science of how incredibly important it is to understand and to be critical about our belief systems, so that we can upgrade the beliefs to be empowering for us, no matter what is right or wrong, etc. So I'm excited to go there today. And like I said, we're not going to tell you what we believe. This is not the quest for today. The quest for today is, as Hippocrates said, the quality of our life is the quality of the questions that we ask. So today we're going to ask good quality questions.
Absolutely. This is really exciting time and a very exciting conversation. And just to encourage you guys, if you do have something that you feel you would love answered, I just want to invite you to drop that in the comments section or in the chat area. And we'll be opening up that dialogue a little bit deeper, where Dr. Espen and I will, I'll be navigating through the comments. I see Monica tuning in from Western Australia, and Tina, Mitchell, thanks for joining us. Again, we just want to invite you, if you like this video, please like. If you get something out of it, please share it with your friends, and leave us a comment or any questions that you have. So exciting to really unpack, because Dr. Espen has dedicated his life. He has committed to unraveling what is actually going on in our human biology, in our psychology, in our physiology. And he takes these practices and teaches them to people, thousands of people across the world. And I've had the fortunate privilege of experiencing the QA and dropping into doing the work ultimately. And peeling all the layers back to really go deeper into what is it that I truly believe, even if it is in my subconscious. What are those belief systems that make up who I am? And is that serving me in my life, or how can I change that to better my life? And so this is a great opportunity for you guys to drop in to do the work with us a little bit today. Dr. Espen always leaves a little activity for you to take home and reflect upon and enjoy, so you can really take your own life to the next level. Particularly now, I feel grateful that the last few years has been training ground for what's to come, because it seems that the future has never been so uncertain as it is now in today's world. But there are things that are certain in this world. And Dr. Espen, could you share maybe a little bit on that, how to navigate the uncertainty and how to navigate times and what we can rely on?
Heck yeah, this is a really important question. The first thing, again, just to reiterate, and if you're a graduate of our programs, if you've done the live events, and when Shay says QA, what he means is Quantum Advanced, which is kind of the shortened version for the 3-day event that we teach, primarily in Australia at the moment with travel restrictions, etc. This is a really important question, and as I stated before, what we believe we will achieve. As Dr. Bruce Lipton said, I know you've interviewed Bruce Lipton on the Earth Heroes channel as well, and for those of you listening, this is the free version where we are censored. We can't really say too much, because if we say too much, there's no such thing as free speech. Free speech is gone. That was gone long ago. Free speech doesn't mean say the right or wrong thing. Free speech means free speech, which means that you should be able to express yourself. But at the moment you express yourself on one of these platforms, you get taken down immediately if your version of free speech does not match what the moderator or the what they're looking for, etc. So there's no such thing as free speech. Let's just get that right. The second thing to understand when we look at this is to ask the question, what do we believe and why is this so important? I'll take you back a couple of hundred years to give you some context. 450 years ago, it was science and all the greatest researchers, scientists, all the greatest philosophers, all the power of the church at the time were saying that the earth was flat. Now, I'm not going to say that it's round. I'm not going to say that it's flat. I'm just talking about the concept of a belief system. And there was a man that came along, and he was an incredible researcher, an incredible philosopher by the name of Giordano Bruno. And Giordano Bruno believed, like Copernicus, that the earth was round and that it actually went around, and that the sun was around and it spun around, and that the earth spun around the sun. Now, just the context of the earth spinning around the sun was heretical to the church at the time. Okay, so 450 years ago, the belief was that the earth is flat, nothing else exists, the sun is just, it doesn't provide any meaning to the planet, etc. And so what happened is that Giordano Bruno, as a researcher and philosopher at the time, was sharing these new research discoveries. And eventually, they burnt him alive. So they put him up on the power, but they pinned him to the cross and they burnt him alive for teaching philosophies and principles and sciences that didn't match the geocentric, Ptolemaic, or Christian religious constructs at the time. Okay, and now 450 years later, the studies, the science, the declarations, everything that Giordano Bruno discovered 400 plus years ago is now science and now known. In fact, you use it in your life every single day, and life wouldn't have been the same without it. Okay, so needless to say then that the times have changed, because we used to be burnt alive for teaching empowering principles. Okay, but we don't do that now. And for those of you who are a thought leader, paradigm shifter, remember also, and this is a really vital one to write down, if you're not crucified, you're not on purpose, because you can't shift the paradigm, you can't raise consciousness without having some challenges, it's having some objections effectively. On a bit of a side note there, I digress. But so that's 450 years ago. Okay, so we were burnt alive for teaching empowering principles. And then less than 200 years ago, it was normal for us to have slaves in our houses. Okay, I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm talking about the belief system. The belief system at the time, 200 years ago, was that you can have slaves, and if they don't clean well enough, if they don't cook well enough, if they don't do their labor well enough, you can whip them. And of course, we wouldn't have that today. It would be insane to even consider that today. But it was only 200 years ago. And then again, it was less than 100 years ago where it was law, and this is law. We're talking about the law. So it was law that you burn people alive if they believe something you don't believe, 450 years ago. 200 years ago, it is law that you have imprisoned people because of their color, and you can hurt them and whip them if they don't do as they're told. That was belief. That was the law. Okay, so bear with me. I know this is a uncomfortable topic, but we need to go there. And then less than 100 years ago, women couldn't vote. And part of the movement in Australia was pivotal in the world to get that to the forefront, that, you know what, women should be able to vote. And I don't know about you, but my personal belief is that it's going to be the divine feminine that's going to be the rise of the new civilization. It's going to save us, because the masculine dominant that's been running this world for thousands of years, I don't think that's serving its purpose. We know well enough that every person alive on this planet could be a multimillionaire if we shared the wealth. But of course, the very few want more. And that's unfortunate, because now millions of people are dying. And so the point that I'm making is 450 years ago, 200 years ago, and less than 100 years ago, these were the belief systems. Now, I have a question for you. Would it be fair to say that we believe something different now? Yes or yes? Of course. We know we don't get burnt alive. We know we can't have slaves, and we know that women, of course, have a right to vote. And so now my question to you is, would it be fair to say, would it be feasible, plausible, possible, that some of the things that we believe today to be true may not be so true in the future? And the answer is, of course, yes. And so then the question is, what is it that what are the current beliefs that are making us sick as a species, as a nation, as a country, as a civilization, as individuals, as fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters? What is it in our lives that's making us sick? Well, if we look at the science of it, as we know, we talked about Dr. Bruce Lipton, the first person in the world to do stem cell research in the 1960s. He discovered that we have trillions of cells in the body, and each and every one of these cells, they are listening to our belief and our environment. So, for example, if I believe that I'm going to be sick, it's proven that my nervous system will start shutting down, or my immune system will start shutting down. My nervous system will kick into fight or flight, and I will literally shut down metabolic, immune, reproductive, digestive functions, and I will actually get sick. And it doesn't happen just because I am sick or I'm not sick, but it happened because I believed it. So I want you to pay very close attention to this, because Dr. Bruce Lipton was able to quantify and provide research for the fact that what we believe, we will achieve. And the first man, as a medical researcher, not as a holistic therapist, as a medical researcher at the Stanford University, he left the Stanford University because he said what the research has proven is that genes, those genes, the genetics, the things we didn't choose, the things we can't change, the things that you're born with, yes? He said genes do not control life. Genes respond to life. And to give you some context, the genes, your genetic blueprint, that'll either make you sick or well, they either turn on or off. They have an on and off switch. That's it. And the genes respond to what you believe. So if you wish to live an extraordinary life, if you wish to be healthy, if you wish to live with abundance, if you wish to inspire your children to make good decisions, you have to, on a regular basis, self-scrutinize your belief and pick apart your belief, because so much of what we believe to be true today is actually not serving us. And we unfortunately, unconsciously, the majority of the time, pass that on to our children. As an example, as I used with, racial discrimination 200 years ago, a child is not born racist. A child is conditioned to be racist. And we are also, in that sense, conditioned to believe certain things. And now that we're seeing this splitting prism of time where we don't know,
Is the government doing this to us, or are they trying to protect us? Is this a real disease that came from a bat, or is it a bioweapon that is against the people to do whatever? And it doesn't matter what you believe, but what matters is, it doesn't matter what's right or wrong, I should say, but what matters is what we believe, because that is what we're going to achieve. And if the emotional seed of which what you believe in is coming from a place of fear, well, then unfortunately we are on a self-destructive path. So in Dr. ETV today, I'm going to unpack for you some of the newest research and science, and we're going to dive into what some of these beliefs might mean to us and how we can, using conscious questions, actually not necessarily change what we believe or believe something of the opposite nature, but rather amend it, tweak it, consciously upgrade it to a point that is actually going to serve our soul's purpose, actually going to serve our bodies, our minds, our emotions, our chemistry, our biophysiology, etc. So I'm excited to dive into that conversation. And the activity that we'll leave you with is going to be, and in Dr. ETV, the paid version, $20 a month, right? Access to everything you need, even with Earth Heroes on the platform. We give you an activity every single week. And that activity is like a mini coaching process for you to kind of feel into and explore within your own life the specific activity needed for you to take that step into consciousness. So we're excited to go there. I know for me, the science of this has absolutely changed my life, because what we believe we will achieve. And I'll just finish on this note. It's not just all of the cells. Dr. Deepak Chopra says there's about 50 to 100 trillion cells. Eyeball cells, liver cells, heart cells, brain cells, skin cells, etc. 50 to 100 trillion. And each of these cells has an estimated 6 trillion actions. It does 6 trillion different things, times, say, 50 to 100 trillion per cell per second. And all of those cells, all of those functions, of which the majority is unconscious, they're creating themselves within your belief paradigm. And it's not just all the cells that are listening, but it's your unconscious mind. And if you've done some of our work, you would have known this and come about this information. The unconscious mind doesn't know the difference. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between something that you're believing and a real event. When a child watches TV and the young child sees someone being murdered on TV, the young child doesn't know the difference between seeing it on TV and someone being actually murdered in front of them. Their intellectual mind knows it if they're evolved enough, but their unconscious mind knows not the difference. So the unconscious mind is creating your life based on what you believe that you don't even know that you believe. And of course, if you want to take it to the next level, the quantum field, the field of consciousness, of awareness that makes up 99.9% of what we are actually made of, that connects every single thing in this universe, that field gives us back exactly what we put out. So what we put out, as in our belief system, it serves us back exactly what we put out to the exact same frequency. So if then we have the opportunity to upgrade our beliefs to something that is unique to you, but it's going to serve you, you can literally transform your life. You change your belief and you change your life. And that's what we're going to go through in the uncensored version.
Oh yeah, I am pumped for this one, man. This is going to be so in depth, and I'm just feel super grateful that we got all of these listeners tuning in with your comments. Thanks for watching, guys. This is really going to be a next level little interview podcast series that we're just about to jump into. Again, a short reminder, an invitation for you to join us in this conversation, to take on board the activities in the uncensored version, where we really go deeper into how to unprogram, remember, and practice who we truly are, and to use the science that Dr. Espen has spent years researching and to apply it to our own life, so that we can really go out into the world and be true to ourselves, stand in our integrity, and share our truth. Really exciting times, particularly with what's going on in the world right now. So guys, just follow the link in the description, and I've also left it in the chat section on the comments, and we'll be going live in a couple of moments right in the uncensored version of Dr. ETV. Super exciting.
Love you guys. See you soon.
Bye for now.